So one of the most frequent questions that I get when I'm talking with somebody about adopting healthy eating practices and healthy eating style is, what do I have for lunch, especially at the office? So especially if you're work out of the home and you don't have a kitchen at your office space, or even if you do have a kitchen, what can I get for lunch that is easy, that is flavorful, that is something that I would like? And the short word that I usually give them is enough. Make sure you eat enough at lunch, because when we're trying to think about healthy eating, a lot of times what happens is we sacrifice a meal, and that really doesn't do anybody any good. And a lot of times the meal that's sacrificed is either breakfast or lunch, which for me, and we won't go too deep into breakfast, but for me, breakfast and lunch are the most important parts of the day, because breakfast is at the beginning of the day and you need that fuel, and lunch is in the middle of the day and you need fuel to get through the rest of your day. So if you wonder why you're crashing by the end of the day and you go home and you're starving and you grab whatever is in front of you in the pantry, whether it's good or not, it's probably because you didn't eat enough during the day. And so we're going to talk about is lunch today. And I got my handy dandy lunch bag here. And we're going to go through a little bit of what I've got just to give you an example. By no means is this what you should or need to be eating, because you have your own eating style, you have your own favorites, you have the things that you will eat, and that's really what it amounts to. Is when you're putting together a healthy eating plan, it needs to be foods that you will eat every day. And I mean every day. Because most of the time, I have pretty much a very similar type of lunch almost every day. There's components that I change up and switch up, flavors that I switch up, and we'll talk a little bit later about how I do that, about how you can really kind of continue to bring life into your meals and into your, especially your lunches, and things like that. But just know that, one, eat enough, make sure that it's going to sustain you through the rest of the day, and make sure that's food that you like and healthful food, right? And so part of that is the exploration that we go through in our healthy life system, and through all of our self assessments and things like that. So things that we have available through our programming. And if you're curious about that, just go ahead and drop us a line, let us know. But for now, we're going to talk a little bit more about lunch. And so I've got my apple. I always finish with a fruit. We'll talk about that here in a minute. I've got my sweet because I've got my coffee. If I've got my coffee, I got to have a little sweet, which is fine because I have a portion. So it's a measured portion. These are chocolate covered pretzels. They're just kind of rolled gold or whatever the brand is. I have somebody, my mom is visiting, and she likes those, and I grabbed a few of those this morning to have with my coffee. But it's a proper portion, right? It's a measured portion. It's not, I didn't bring the whole bag with me. All right, so we'll go into this in a minute. So this is the bulk of my meal. So it's veggies. You see that? It's veggies. It's protein. Let me open that up. So we've got lettuce and coleslaw and mixed vegetables that I started from frozen. I've got some tofu in there. And so really it could be whatever vegetables you like. We've got a little bit of, it could be whatever protein is appropriate for you, that is well caught, or well caught, well raised, well caught, well processed, or the least amount processed possible for your any of your foods, but especially meats. We've got vegetables. We've got just a little bit of mayonnaise, not even a full serving of mayonnaise, just to give it a little bit of a creaminess, a little bit of vinegar on there. So it could really be the flavors that you like. And it doesn't even have to be a full-on salad. Just have some vegetables with your meal. It could be a couple sticks of celery, some carrots, some cucumber, a little salad on the side with a different meal. But this is easy for me because I got a fork or I've got a spoon and I can just spoon it out. I can eat it here. I've got my starch. So you want to have your veggies and your protein, a little bit of fat on there with the mayonnaise. You got my carbs, got my starch here, got my grain this time. So sometimes I've got a starch like a yuca or a potatoes, sweet potatoes, things like that are my carb, are my starch. And so these are important, folks. Carbs and starches are important. These are actually what are going to get you through the day. I know protein is going to help. Protein is going to help keep you full, but this is going to power the house. Okay? This is going to power the house. The protein to keep you full, but this is going to make everything work. If you don't believe me, then you're not looking at the right science. To be honest, to be really, really honest, there's a lot out there about the detriment of carbs, and we can go off the rail with carbs, and it's the types of carbs. It really is the type of carbs. It always is the type of food, the quality of the food is what matters most. So anyway, I've got my pita bread. I'll throw my veggie and protein in the pita bread, and I'll have my apple to finish. I always finish with an apple. I finish every meal with an apple. What apple day keeps the doctor away. I don't know if they say that anymore, but I know I heard it growing up for sure. But what this does is it clears the palate. It helps with the teeth. It gets a lot of good fiber in there. And again, it's that kind of simple carb lift. I know I got my sweets there too. But if you have your sweets and your simple carbs in the context of a meal, then it rolls in there with everything else. And again, it powers the house. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any critiques, I guess, of the meal that I just had, which I'm sure someone could find fault with a handful of things there. I'm willing to have that discussion too. So reach out, let me know what you think, and let me know what you're having for lunch, and let me know how I can help you kind of figure out how to make it more in the realm of healthy living, because that's what we really talk about here, is healthy living that makes sense for you. All right, that's lunch, folks. Enjoy yours. I'm going to enjoy mine. All right, many blessings. We'll talk again soon.